I want to talk to you about the skills it takes to be president.
Yeah.
In about 72 hours recently, you had to grieve in Dallas with the families of 5 police officers. You had to monitor a terrorist attack in Nice. You also had to monitor a coup attempt and then what people are calling a purge in Turkey. Given that that's what a president has to deal with, what attributes should we be looking for in the candidates who are running for president to handle those kinds of days?
Well, let's start off with the fact that I'm biased.
Sure.
Right?
But you're a man of reason, so you will be able to make the case regardless.
So I think I'll try to be as objective as I can. And I've thought about this. You know, the first thing I think the American people should be looking for is somebody that can build a team and create a culture that knows how to organize it and move the ball down the field. And the reason for that is because no matter how good you are as president, you are overseeing 2 million people and $1 trillion plus budget and the largest organization on earth. And you can't do it all by yourself. And so you are reliant on really talented, hard-working, skilled people and making sure they're all moving in the same direction. And doing it without drama and not worrying as much about, you know, who's getting credit and creating all those good habits inside of an organization, I think are critical. The second thing I think a president needs is a sense of discipline. Personal discipline in terms of doing your homework and knowing your subject matter and being able to stay focused. Helping to make sure the team in the White House is disciplined because you are responding constantly to unexpected events. And you've got to be able to just work those through in rapid, effective fashion, but also not lose track of your overall goals. The third is you need vision about where you want to take the country. And you've got to know ahead of time enough about the economy and foreign policy and American history and you know, our system of government so that when you stake out a vision that we need more economic equality in this country, you're just not making assertions, you're actually able to drive policy forward to achieve the vision. And then the final thing is you have to really care about the American people, not in the abstract, not as boilerplate, but you have to really every single day want to do your best for them, because if you don't have that sense grounding you, you will be buffeted and blown back and forth by polls and interest groups and voices whispering in your heads, and you will lose your center of gravity. You will lose your moral compass. But if you really are here because, man, I want to make sure that woman who's working really hard is getting paid a decent wage. I really want that family with a sick kid to make sure they're not losing their home. Then, even when things go bad, and there are going to be times in this job where things go bad, you have a frame of reference. You know why you're doing it, and that means also that you can push through and do some things that may not be politically popular initially.
In 2008, a lot of your supporters said, look at the way he ran his campaign. If he runs the presidency like his campaign, he's going to be in good shape. Why isn't that true for Donald Trump, who's run a pretty remarkable campaign, beating 16 other politicians?
Well, in 2008, I don't think they were referring merely to the fact that I had won. I think they were referring to the fact that we built a really good team. We were really well organized. We had a great culture that there wasn't a whiff of scandal to how we approached getting elected. We told the truth. So there were a bunch of things that hopefully showed the kind of White House I'd run, and I think we've been pretty consistent in doing that. I do think that the body of work of a person matters, and I would say that, and I've said this before, I will say again, since you opened this line of questioning, I genuinely believe that there's never been a candidate better prepared for the presidency than Hillary Clinton.
Not Eisenhower, not George Herbert Walker Bush. Those are pretty.
Well, I said more prepared. I didn't say that they were, chopped liver. I mean, heading up the Allied forces is pretty good training for the presidency. And I'm huge admirers of both Eisenhower and Herbert Walker Bush. In fact, I think that George H.W. Bush is one of the most underrated presidents we've had. I think he was and is a really good man. But the skill sets that Hillary has are similar to many of the skill sets that they had. Experience in government, experience in working with a wide range of people, solving big, difficult problems, familiarity with the world. The truth is that Hillary and I have become friends, but we're not bosom buddies. We don't go vacationing together. I think that I've got a pretty clear-eyed sense of both her strengths and her weaknesses. And what I would say would be that this is somebody who knows as much about domestic and foreign policy as anybody, is tough as nails, is motivated by what's best for America and ordinary people, understands that in this democracy that we have, things don't always happen as fast as we'd like, and it requires compromise and grinding it out. She's not always flashy, and there are better speech makers, but she knows her stuff. And more than anything, that is what is ultimately required to do a good job in this office.
We'll have more of our interview in our next half hour. Stay with us.